Hey, the first video I tried to post didn't work out because I made it private. So I'm gonna try again. But if there end up being two videos on WordPress, you'll know why. The lesson that I'm reflecting on was a social studies lesson. And in this lesson, students began their group work for a project on Native American tribes. In their groups, students have to describe the region, climate, natural resources, technology, art, culture, and shelter of their tribe. They will then present this information in a PowerPoint to the rest of the class about 2 or 3 weeks from today. All of my social studies lessons this year have built up to this day. And in this day, I'm finally allowing students to get in their groups and begin learning with and from each other. The first 12 minutes of the lesson, I gave instructions in the class layout and my expectations for their behavior during group work. To prepare for the physical layout of the room, I presented which groups would be at which tables and told them to put all the materials they wouldn't be using on the floor. Then I reiterated the importance of staying on task, taking turns talking, maintaining a positive dynamic, and not wasting their time. For the next approximately 25 minutes, students started reading and taking notes in preparation for their presentation in 3 weeks. I circulated from group to group, making observations, providing feedback, and making sure everyone was on task. In the last 4 minutes, we came back as a whole group. I told them how pleased I was at how well they worked together and commented on all the positive behaviors that I saw. Informing. One of the routine things that I did in this lesson was to follow a diamond-like time frame. We started with teacher-led instruction. From there, we moved to small group work, and this took the majority of the time. And at the end of the class, we came back as a whole group, to reflect on our work together. Another routine was to circulate and provide feedback while students worked. One of the conscious teaching actions was to write objectives on the board and refer to them in the beginning of the lesson and at the end of the lesson. Contesting. Some of the beliefs that inform my teaching are the importance of background building, making connections, the transference of knowledge from one language to another, the scaffolding of skills and guarding speech for CLD learners. For students to be able to begin their group work, we spent a few days accessing prior knowledge and making connections with the content we will be working with. In one lesson, for example, we filled a KWL chart with what students already knew about Native Americans and what they wanted to learn. In another lesson, I showed them that all the categories that they would be looking at, region, climate, natural resources, etc., all have cognates in Portuguese. And we proceeded to discuss the meanings of all these categories. And then I had students find out how they fit into those categories. For example, the region they live in is Northeast Brazil. We went through that. The climate is tropical. Some of the natural resources are the ocean, cocoa trees, seafood, cashews, palm trees. By filling out the chart, according to them, we were able to go through the meanings of all these categories, and the work that they do then with Native Americans will be more applicable or more meaningful to them. Appraisal. This particular lesson was very successful. I had spent a great deal of time preparing for it. I think if I could improve it in any way, it would be in the way I take notes as I circulate around the room. I think I could systematize my note-taking by having a chart with each student's name and specific behaviors and learning objectives I was looking for from each student as a group. That would ensure that I would have formative assessment for each child. It would also formalize what I'm looking for as I circulate. The acting part. So my answer here is the same as in the appraisal. As I mentioned before, it is a common routine for me to have students work in partners or in groups. Therefore, it's worth investing time in creating rubrics and charts for behaviors and specific actions and learning objectives that I want to see met as I observe students in their groups. Thanks for watching.